Welcome back. You're still watching the morning show here on Arise News, and we are now joined to review headlines in today's newspapers from around the world by Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning, Mr. Efeni.
Good morning, Leila. Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning, yes.
Let's start with this day newspaper. Lead story: businesses express support for federal government's extension of border closure to January 2020. Reopening depends on attainment of government objectives, says Customs. And the Daily Sun reporting the same story on its lead story. Borders remain shut indefinitely. Presidency says few strategic objectives for closure not yet achieved. It has helped checked firearms influx. Directorate of State Security. Now, if we look at this day story, businesses expressing support. Yes, the president of the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, of Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Hajia Saratu Aliyu, as well as the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mansour Ahmed, both expressing support for the closure. I'm not too sure whether they represent everybody in that association, because even in their own statement, they are saying, yes, some of their members are suffering, but it is a price worth paying. I'm not sure those who are the receiving end amongst manufacturers or members of the Chambers of Commerce will agree with this kind of support, Ruben.
I think you've made a point. I mean, earlier on, I had commented at length on this, but you've just made a point that needs to be added, which is that these persons are probably just expressing their personal opinions.
Most likely.
And you know, opinion is divided on this matter.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that they bear titles in Nasima or Man does not necessarily mean that they have full information or proper understanding of the issues at stake. And that's why earlier on when I commented on this, I tried to say, look, I don't think that anybody has done a holistic, comprehensive assessment, you know, of the situation with the closure of the borders. And there are issues that need to be looked at. Those who defend it, they say that, well, the problem we have with the Republic of Benin in particular is the fact that the Republic of Benin is just, you know, a channel.
A conduit.
Yes, for receiving imports from Europe. Republic of Benin
meant for the Nigerian markets.
Has a population of just about 12 million. What it receives, either in terms of rice from Asia or used cars from Europe and elsewhere, those goods, they are not, you know, consumed, you know, inside the Republic of Benin. The destination point is Nigeria, you know, and that Nigeria has a sovereign responsibility to make sure that it checks that. What the ECOWAS protocol says is that, yes, whereas there is free movement of goods and services and persons guaranteed within the region, nowhere does the protocol say that any West African country should become a channel for smuggling goods into
the region,
another country.
Even into the region.
You know, so, and then if that happens, if it's a channel, then the destination point must get part of the customs duties. And of course, Republic of Benin does not pay anything to Nigeria. So that's a theoretical thing. Now, the question will be, how best do we address this? Now, if you look at the the land border in the northern part of the country, you know, stretching over 1,000 kilometers, you know, that is also very porous with Niger, with Chad, with all the countries bordering Nigeria. Okay, is the closure indefinitely, as the Sun reports, of our land borders the answer to it? I do not think so. And I think that, you know, there's a deficit in terms of strategy, in terms of approach, in terms of understanding. What they do in other parts of the world is they secure their borders. They automate it, technology, as you mentioned earlier on. Where are we with that? You know, this ancient, you know, approach of just closing down the borders may bring short-term gains, as the government has been describing. You know, we have done this, we have stopped petroleum smuggling, we have stopped this, we have gained over 24 billion and all of that. Rice producers are now enjoying, but the question is it sustainable?
Long-term losses.
So I think that what we need is a rethink rather than, a prolongation or an extension of a strategy that is at best antediluvian.
Well, but there are gains. We're enjoying the gains, according to the government.
No, I said no. I have the measure gains. Where is the trade-off?
The farmers are not selling more rice, Ruben.
Where is the net off?
We are not eating Nigerian rice, Ruben, if you are not aware. These are gains.
But they're still short-term gains. What happens over time? We have to find or apply the right solution. Sorry.
They are selling their stocks easily. Okay. According to the CBN governor.
I understand.
Let's move on to other issues. The Nation newspaper, how Edo government organized attack by Oshomole, knocks for national chairman Obaseki over state of APC crisis. Now, if you look at the New Telegraph, also the same story, Oshomole to Obaseki. Your government hired thugs to boo me, accuses deputy governor of importing 1,000 hoodlums. Governor, APC national chairman should apologize over attack. And there's a quote there. The attack was unfortunate because it was organized by the state government. The deputy governor asked some people to organize 1,000 people to the university community. The whole idea was for them to boo me and celebrate it in the media that the comrade chairman was booed in his home community. That's according to Oshomole. Now, the crisis within the state APC, Edo State APC, seem to be getting out of hand. But we know at stake, perhaps, is the seat of the governor, whether this governor will get the APC ticket to run for a second term or not. But as it seems, the gladiators are not sparing anything in this battle to who will be the governor whether Obaseki will get a second term or not.
Well, whatever is at stake, whether it's second term or whatever, I think what happened in Edo State on Saturday is completely disgraceful. And it is even more shocking that, there has been a trading of blames. Nobody wants to take responsibility. And of course, because it's shameful also, nobody will take responsibility. The deputy governor who has been fingered says he's not the one. The governor says he knows nothing about it. Oshomole, the party chairman, says he's the victim in this matter. But if you look at the caliber of persons, who were targeted, including the Oba of Lagos, including the Chancellor of the Edo State University, even the governor of the Central Bank was on the ground, and they were going to pay, Dr. Alex Onobanjo and others, they were going to pay homage to Adams Oshomole, the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, only to be ambushed by thugs. Imagine if anything had happened to any of those persons. I think that what needs to be said is, this is not individual ambitions, either second term or the influence of a godfather should be considered subordinate to the image, the integrity of Edo State.
I wish these politicians
so
think the way
what they have
talking
done
about,
there is to show it's a case of people placing the image of the state, the interest of the state, over and above, placing their own individual interest over and above the interest of the state.
Yeah.
And I think it's shameful.
Yes.
And I believe that the security agencies should not just take this as a routine political confrontation.
Ruben, I was coming to that.
Yes, there should be investigation.
That 1,000 thugs were imported into a small town to cause mayhem. Not one person has been arrested. Tells you the place of thuggery amongst politicians.
And what they have done,
Best
they do
friends.
not represent the interests of the ordinary people of Edo State.
Not at all.
The people of Edo State, either they are in Namho, or what is that village, you know, or Shiomole's own village, you know, they will expect, they welcome people from other parts of Nigeria, but the politicians, in pursuit of their own selfish interests, you know, have caused this great embarrassment to the good people of Edo State. Okay. I think the people themselves should take special notice of this and make sure that such persons are not allowed, you know, to have the kind of influence they seek.
Are you sure those persons are not in control of the situation?
Of the minds of the people too.
They know how they manipulate them. Let's move on. Vanguard newspaper, please. Minimum wage governors that can't pay should be impeached. NLC alleges they all charter private jets at least twice, thrice weekly. Meets tomorrow in Abuja on consequential adjustment. Well, if the Labour, they are expecting the House of Assembly of any state I know in Nigeria to start impeachment process of a governor because of minimum wage inability to pay, then I think they are talking to the wrong audience.
Do we have any foreign headlines?
Yes, if we go to the Guardian newspaper, the campaigns on in the UK, the Guardian. Obey me on Brexit, Corbyn warns cabinet dissenters. Yes, and Jeremy Corbyn has told his fractious shadow cabinet that the debate on Brexit is over, that they should concentrate on the campaigns, either they fall in or fall out. Of course, if you look at the Daily Express, the campaign on the other side, the Daily Express, Boris, I will cut taxes for every worker and boost welfare spending by £5 billion. That's Boris Johnson. The campaign is on.
Well, yeah, it's on. Everywhere. On the streets, on social media, and even in the media.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much,
Mr.
Emmanuel Efeni.
See you
Thank you very
tomorrow.
much indeed.